there is one thing. It is there's one thing I kind of want to bring up, man, and it's kind of something that brought me. Well, it's been bringing me down since last year, even though I've been learning to cope and to move on and to heal. But yeah, I've discovered I've during my time reflecting on things, I've come to discover and learn about myself. Um, I don't know if you know what the term means. I mean, it's on the screen now, but there is this thing called anuptophobia. I didn't know this. There was an actual terminology for this, but yeah, I find out that I have anuptophobia, and if you don't know what that is, bear with me here. Anuptophobia is the fear of remaining unmarried or being married to the wrong person, or being single to the point where it becomes a phobia. Yeah, I have that. Not really marrying the wrong person is what makes me fearful, but the thought of forever being alone. Like, I don't know. When it comes to love and shit, I feel like I'm cursed. I don't know. They say there's a soulmate out there for everyone. I just think my soulmate probably died at birth. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Okay? I've 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 tried. I've given it 1,000%. I sound like the biggest incel. But I last year, or the beginning of this year, came out of a 5 year long distance relationship with a narcissist and manipulator, um where it was so toxic that I was working towards building a future and living a fantasy, basically. And that person painted the picture that it was real. There was a chance that it was like mutual, and it would happen. And for 5 years, that person has been lying to me, talking to people behind my back, taking advantage of me. I dedicated myself, committed myself to not only them, their loved ones. Their problems would be my problems, and I would literally. It's crazy because if you haven't seen Press Escape podcast with Valkyrie and her co-host, she kind of talks about her experience. And while she was talking about her experience, I was like, damn, I went through the same fucking shit. Like, but yeah, I don't know. That hurt me so much. It did so much damage, like residual damage to me, that relationship and everything that happened and what went down throughout those 5 years, that I don't know. I build my life around that person, and now I just feel like I've been lost, or I don't know who I am anymore. Um yeah. I've made videos and I've streamed and talked about it. That was my way of coping. It was very messy, but it was kind of my therapy, because I actually try to go to a therapist and seek therapy and talk to someone about it, and they wouldn't let me talk about it. They wanted me to focus on me, and it got to the point where they kind of said like, "Oh, they're no longer with us, so you got to find another therapist." And I was like, "Well, okay, maybe therapy is not the way to go for me." But yeah, ever since I've have anuptophobia, because not only because of that situation, but ever since I've been trying. Okay, what can I say? I'm a hopeless romantic. Okay, I still believe in love and in the chance that there's a happily ever after. But maybe it's copium. I don't know. As I said, maybe my soulmate died at birth. Who knows? But yeah, I keep trying. Um, Recently, like it's this dating pool nowadays is so it's just so shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you my experience because there is a video I kind of want to react to. My experience on dating apps or any social media platform, like if I can find my phone. Okay, so this is my experience on Tinder. First of all, dating apps are so just bad in general because they paywall interactions. They paywall any interactions whatsoever. Tinder, I swear to God, if there's any chance that anyone would like you, Tinder makes them disappear. You will never, ever, no matter how many swipes you do, come across that person. Ever. Ever. They're like, nope, you got to pay $20. You got to pay whatever. I don't know how much, but yeah, you got to pay in order to find out who liked you. But in my case, in the case of, I don't know if it's men, maybe this happens to women as well. But in my case, because I can only speak for me, it can be Tinder, it can be Bumble. I've tried it all. I've tried it all because trust me, I have social anxiety. I don't leave my apartment. I don't go out, especially in this day and age where everything is through social media. I've tried online. Trust me, trust me. They give you a limit to how many swipes you can do, and this is me. You know what? I don't even look at the phone. It's to the point. It's sad. It's to the point where I just swipe. I just swipe until I can't swipe no more, and wait and hope that I get a match. And then when I do get a match, it's so tiring that when I do get a match and I see it, I gotta make sure that I'm compatible with that person's compatible. If I like the person, if the person likes me, most of the times they unmatch me. Maybe I'm just bad looking or whatever. But yeah, sometimes they unmatch me. Sometimes, a lot of times, online dating, you got to be careful because there's catfishes, there's scammers, there's people that probably you're not on the same team as. Like, they you know, I don't know how to put it. I don't want to, you know, I, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I'm a straight male. Okay. I like women. So I don't have any interest in anything else. And in online dating, there's a lot of everything else. If they're not scammers and catfishes and stuff. But yeah, so it's just tough. It's just tough for me out there. Okay. This dating pool is crazy. Also, like maybe a lot of people, like for me, also like people have values, they have morals, and some things maybe for other people is they'll let it slide and they're good with it. For me, like I don't know. I don't see myself with someone that does like adult content and stuff like that. And it seems like there's a lot of people now that do it. So obviously I'm not gonna try to pursue someone that I'm not compatible with in that regard. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of factors and it just the stars don't align. But as of recently, um this really messed me up too. Like I met someone from I believe she was Chinese, right? I was like, "Ooh, okay, we're really hitting it off. There was a connection. We talked. We had a lot of things in common. The our ideals were alike." Like I was like, "Ooh, okay, maybe there's a chance." you know what? I always say, if they ask me like, what is it that you're looking for? I'm like, listen, I don't have friends. I don't go out. Like, I don't have any social life whatsoever. So just talking, trying to get to know someone is enough. If anything blossoms from that, then cool. If not, cool. Uh, so yeah, no, we were talking. I mentioned when she tells me, "What are some of your hobbies?" I tell her, "Oh, streaming, gaming. Uh, I work. Uh, I like investing. Blah blah." I tell her everything. I was straightforward, transparent from the start, and she was like, "Oh, cool. Okay, I like. I don't play video games, but yeah." She told me everything she does as a hobby. All right, cool. We still hitting it off. We seem compatible. We seem cool. I like talking to her. She likes talking to me. Somewhere down the line, we noticed like, I'm willing to give it a chance if you are, and she was like, sure. Well, she brought it up to me, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm cool with it. But if you want to take it slow and see, like, I want to make sure, like, I'm not dating to be someone's temporary. I'm dating to be someone's forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, also, she's like 30, and I'm turning 29. Not to say that that matters, but down the line, she tells me, "Oh, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want you to feel pressured or anything." But she's like, "I kind of have money," and I was like, first of all, that doesn't affect me at all. Like, first of all, I don't understand why I should feel pressured by that. Also, it wouldn't change anything whether I knew you had money or not. Like, she told me the car she drove. She showed me the car she drove. She drove a Porsche Panamera or something like that. But yeah, she said, I just don't want you to feel pressured by that. And I was like, first of all, that doesn't add pressure to me. And it also doesn't change how I treat you or what I think about you, knowing that you have money or not. Like, I'm still going to treat you the same. I hope you have the respect and decency to treat me the same, knowing that I don't have that type of money. Like, we're in different tax brackets. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it work. It's not working. I'm just, right now, I might not be there. We're on the same road. We're going to get to the same destination. I'm just, behind, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Just patience and understanding and communication and da da da. And it just became about finance. It just became. I tried so hard to kind of make it work. Try to, you know, but she was just focused on finances, and it kind of got to the point where I was like I would try new things. Like, I would express myself. She didn't, not that she talked about money all the time, but she brought it up at times where it's like, wow, that's really, like, that really, like, matter. Like, she put that kind of first, like, in the end. So, like, I would express, I told her, like, for me to open up and trust someone, it takes a lot, because I been through a lot in life. So I'm not an open book to just anyone. Like, I really have to feel comfortable with you for me to open up and be cool and everything. And I'm willing to work through it and get to build that foundation where we're open and and we can share anything, right? But it would be moments where I would express myself, right? I would send her, you know, nice messages, and I would tell her if she's working or I'm working, like, hey, I thought about you and blah blah blah, like, and she would ignore it, or she would just change the topic, and I was like, I kind of brought it up to her. I was like, why is it that every time, and she's like, oh, you're embarrassing, you're embarrassing me. And I'm like, my intentions weren't to embarrass you. I just wanted to clarify and see the reason why, every time I would bring something up, you would kind of sweep it under the rug. And she and she said, what I really want to know is how you're going to provide a better future for me or future children if you don't have like money, you don't have any income. How can you even afford a house without any income? And I was like, I felt bad. I felt very embarrassed. Like, I was like, listen, first of all, how do you expect me to provide you a better life when you have money and you drive the car you drive and stuff like that? Like, people are supposed to, you know, but yeah, she kind of put me down. But I kind of thought about it as well, and it's probably my negative thinking, my toxic brain. But I was like, you know what? She has a point. He has a point. Like, I feel like I don't know. Growing up, I've always been compared to like my older siblings. Like, hey, like, even if it was in school, hey, you should get grades like such and such and blah blah blah. And I feel like if I'm ever a parent, I would never, like, if I have multiple children, I would never compare them to anyone or tell them that they should be, you know, just try your best. But I think that carried, like, a lot of stuff that I went through in childhood, I kind of carried on to adulthood. And not really childhood, because I didn't really have a normal childhood, but a lot of the stuff that happened to me young, I kind of had to mature early, so it kind of carried on to my adulthood. Hence my antisocial life, or lack of social life. And that was something that I was like, I always compared myself to, like, I'm like, wait a minute, my older siblings, like, they have families, they have vehicles, they have their own place, like, they're happy. I'm not happy. I don't have money. I can't afford this. My brother's like, hey, you should buy this game, and I can't afford the game, and stuff like that. I'm like, why is everyone else in their position where they can do anything and have anything and be good, and I don't have nothing, like, not kind of feeling pity for myself, but it's just something, I don't know. um but yeah, I don't know. She said that, she's like, if you think that's the person I am, we should just stop talking now. And we haven't talked anymore because I just felt super uncomfortable. But yeah, it was sad. um you don't have to be ready at the moment to buy a house and have kids. It's still something you can work up to. You need to build a relationship before you can even do any of that stuff. Yeah, I know. I come to that conclusion every time, but there's those moments that it's just inevitable. It'll be like, hey, am I doing something wrong? Like, am I, I don't know. Like, I tweeted out earlier, and a lot of the times, like, on Twitter, I kind of put it all out there just to, people journal. Twitter is my journal. Like, my Twitter is my journal. So I do express. I feel like, when people do stuff and then their families is like, no, but they were loving, and they were happy, and they were da 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 da, and then they find like notebooks and stuff of like just the polar opposite. Like I feel like with me, I'm depressed. Like obviously, I don't make it known when I'm around people, but I feel like if they actually dig, they would find what I'm actually thinking and feeling. Like usually with my family, I'm not very vocal, and I don't let it known what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling. I'm very observant, quiet, so they know that I'm thinking about something. But yeah, I'm not the expressor to them. So, but yeah, it's out there. If they dig, they'll find. But one of the tweets that I did was, shit, 10 years of doing some of my adulthood, and I haven't accomplished nothing. I have nothing to my name. Nothing. I like just pure failure. And if in order to succeed, I'll continue failing because that's how I feel at the moment. And that's kind of something that kind of, I don't know. Like even watching like streams and streamers and the streamer awards and blah blah blah, you hear these people like, oh yeah, I've been streaming for 10, 11, 12 years and doing this and that, and I'm like, must be nice, man. I've also been doing that for that long, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like I get myself down. But yeah. I have a Anuptaphobia, so that's something new about me. Hopefully I don't end up forever alone, but it sure does seem that way. Genuinely, you think you'd benefit from a different type of therapy than your previous one. There's a lot of different forms of therapy, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. I think therapy is very beneficial and it actually helps out a lot, but you just need the right therapist and the right type of therapy. Growing up, though, a lot of times when people would refer me to a therapist or, you know, like medical doctors and stuff like that, I come from a family that never believed in, like, my dad hated therapists and doctors and stuff like that. So he would get offended when they would refer me to one, and that's why growing up I was never able to actually seek therapy, but only when I was in like a group home or a residential or under, you know, medical care. Um you just have to have patience in finding the right person. Yeah. All right.